Hey guys, welcome to the Crypto Lab, featured by Trading Analysis. We're gonna give the macro update since we had a Fed meeting yesterday. We also had the ECB meeting today. Lots of data, and also we're gonna have an NFP numbers on Friday, and also next week we're gonna have. I don't think it's gonna. Yeah, next week we're gonna have a new CPI. So it is going to be kind of into the all of the things will wrap up into the latest Fed meeting yesterday, where the Jerome Powell basically announced a possible pause. Of course, they added data dependent, but most likely the pause is going to be real for the next Fed meeting. So let's look the CME Fed tool. So we had 14th of June. For now, 89.8% is that we're going to stay same, 5 to 525, and now we have a 10% of the rates moving lower. So on 26th of July, we have 48.7% or 49.7, sorry, that we're going to go 25 basis points lower. So already market is starting to price a possible rate cuts. And on 26th of September, we also have either a pause or a rate cut, and only 12.7% that we're going to stay above 5%. So market obviously thinks differently than Fed, as you can see. So market is thinking that this rate cuts are going to come earlier than the Fed actually is kind of proclaiming in their narrative. So from the Jerome Powell speaking or a talk yesterday, Fed news conference, usually you will think that possible either a pause or a one rate cut will be until the end of the year. So market is pricing this much sooner. So that's a kind of a distinctible difference what the market thinks currently and what was the Fed narrative. So of course we will see the data and the other components which will influence the Fed decisions. ECB hiked 25 basis points as well, also with a narrative that inflation is too high. Inflation is around 7% in the EU. The next CPI, of course, will be very important as of this last year. So we're going to have the CPI on 10th of May. So that was projected to come around 4.95%, which is a kind of stabilizing CPI. And I think we will stabilize between 4 and 5% for some time. So that will give a Fed a nice intro for a possible longer pause and eventually rate cut in inflation going lower. So we also had a couple of banks in the couple of latest weekends. Obviously on weekends there is a bank collapses. We had the last case last week when the JP Morgan bought the first public bank, I think it was the name, but obviously the wrong unhedged treasury positions from these banks without any proper risk management of interest rates made these several collapses. And Fed actually said yesterday that banking system is fine. These are sporadic events, as they say. So let's see if that will come the same on the same level in the weeks to come. Let's look what's going on a total crypto market cap. So I will not say that this wave structure, looking from a technical perspective, is telling us that this correction is still done. We do have some type of a, let's say, impulsive move down, and now we have a consolidation. So as long as we trade in this range, in my opinion, this might be either a triangle or an ABC or something more complex. I will still label this as a B wave until we go above this channel on the upside, and I will anticipate still that we have a little bit more downside in this C wave. So I will not say that on total crypto market cap we are done with this correction. I do think so. This is a daily chart, RSI on daily. I think it has a little bit more on the downside. So if we go on a smaller time frame, and if we look what's going on a 4-hour chart, obviously we have 5 waves down on this chart, and now we have some type of a correction which might actually test these levels before we actually produce the same leg to the downside. So I don't think this is actually over, and as well I do think the same for the Bitcoin, which I will show you. So in today's show we're going to look only Bitcoin, and we're going to look larger time frames and as well smaller time frames. But Bitcoin pretty much resembles total crypto market cap, and I do think that correction is still not done. Okay, so let's switch to Bitcoin. Let's look what this longer term chart looks, and let's look a couple of implications. So if we look the weekly chart on the Bitcoin, I have mentioned that a couple of times. We are trading again, as you can see, above this corrective channel, or a supporting channel. So you get this channel by getting the wave 1 and wave 2. So it's a kind of always acts as a possible support for the wave 4. It's called the base channel. That is the proper name. So we didn't have a wave count invalidation here. So in the Elliott Wave theory, wave 4 cannot enter the territory of the wave 1, or the highs of the wave 1 and the territory of the wave 2, because this is all the territory of the wave 2, except in the diagonals. So we don't have a diagonal developing here. We traded below this 200 moving average, close to wave count invalidation, but then we climb above 200 moving average on weekly, and also above this base channel, which is a kind of a good sign. In my opinion, I was always looking for a possibility that this was a wave 5 development on the upside, and I'm still staying bullish. Of course, that depends on the liquidity into the system, what the stock market will do, because the cryptos are still a liquidity, kind of a liquidity measurement, because they will not go up if there is not enough liquidity into the system. They're still not, and they're far away for a primary asset class, for a big funds, hedge funds. For hedge funds, they're just a trading P&L vehicle. So in that respect, I do not think that Bitcoin for itself can move on the upside. People are often saying that adoption rate is growing exponentially, but I mean, I really don't see that the use of Bitcoin has grown that much into the real economy. I think most of this, how do we actually account for users is basically a trading account over the world. So I'm not saying it's not growing. I just doubt that this is in that pace that many people are presenting. So I do still think that Bitcoin is not grown enough to become something which will be a separate asset class besides other that we have for now. So it's still a matter of liquidity and how much money is in the system and available for it to go into the cryptos. We didn't also develop some side traction for adoption, and possibly this network might grow into the future, but for now the situation is like that, and I always like to say that in public. So anyhow, I was bullish because we didn't have a wave count validation, and from lows I can count 5 waves up. So I still do think we are in some type of a corrective pause here, as in the total crypto market cap. So on weekly, I like to look larger time frames because they're more kind of a substance, more confident in my opinion, especially when I look these indicators. So I only usually look just RSI with all of these things that I do beside. We are trading around very close to 70, so I don't think this correction is done, and we have some type of a 5 waves down and some type of a consolidation here. This might actually end as a triangle, as an intermediary triangle. So I'm going to show you a smaller time frame. We really didn't see any large impulsive movement here on this time frame. So this cannot be portrayed currently as anything of an impulsive nature on the upside. So I will rather have this as some type of a wave B consolidation. We might get any kind of a pattern. So we might get some type of a triangle. So this will be a wave A, down in B, up in C, D, and we are in some type of a E wave. We finish this B wave, and then we go down to this line. And then we actually start to move on the upside. So that's all depends how this pattern will unfold. I really don't know what it will be in this moment. This is just a potential pattern that it might unfold. But overall, I do think we are going to correct. So my zone for this correction will be around 26. It will be the first zone, and the secondary zone will be from 22 to 24K. So where is this daily 200 moving average, which was holding here this drop very nicely. So this will be the secondary zone, and the first zone will be around weekly 200 moving average, which you can see here is around 25 to 26K. So very short corrective pullback in a possible wave 2. Even if you have a wave count which actually says that this is 1212, which actually portrays this as already an intermediary subdivision developments already happening. So usually when you have the intermediary wave 1, wave 2 is usually shorter, so there is a substance in that as well. But anyhow, the result will be the same, although the correction might be just a touch deeper. But anyhow, my best case scenario is that we're going to correct down to 24 to 25, where you can see these support levels, and then we will start developing a more aggressive bullish wave structure on the upside. So if this wave count fails, so what I will look for a support level, so it will be usually 20K as the next support. So what do we usually do? We put some fib levels. So 786 is our last resort fib levels. So when you put the fib levels here, you will see that from all of this move on the upside, 786 comes around 18K. So this will be the last result levels. And if we drop below this weekly 200 moving average, I will not consider this a very positive sign. And I think people should be very careful how this drop, if it goes below, will develop. If it develops impulsively, then you will have to look some alternative scenarios, which might indicate even further lower levels ahead. Okay, so that is pretty kind of a simple thing. So you have two zones. First zone is from 25 to 26K. Second zone is from 20 to 22K, and the last support zone is around 18K. So this will be all of the possibilities for the retracements levels. I will say the strongest support is around between 25 and 26K, and the subsequent daily 200 around 50% retracement around 22K will be the next one, which will be the good support for the Bitcoin. So overall, I'm gonna pursue still my bullish wave count. There is no reason currently that we should drop this, especially that we trade above these two major support levels from several time frames. So I'm going to keep this wave count, of course, until I'm proved differently. And if we test some of the lower levels, I will become over suspicious already, and then I will see what will be my alternate wave count. Probably it will be that this is a wave A, B, C, and we go further down towards lower levels. So I think we are going to come to a crucial point very soon, and the halving is around March 2024. So I think it's about time, as in the previous cycle, if we follow that pattern, that we slowly start to inch higher and then accelerate towards this 60, 70, 80K. Of course, that will be all dependent what the Fed does, how is the liquidity into the system. But according to our findings and how do we look stock market at trading analysis, we do think that we're going to continue higher, and therefore we're going to look also for cryptos to continue higher in this moment. So that's it for today, guys. If you want to check our work, you can visit us at tradinganalysis.com. You can take a trial. I think it's $27 for 7-day trial. You can see what we do in cryptos. And until the next stream, we didn't have a stream last Thursday, so these streams are not going to be possibly so regular. Okay, so I might skip a couple of them. We have too many things to work at Trading Analysis. We are working on several fronts. So just subscribe if you want to be notified, or join us at Trading Analysis and see more what we cover in crypto. So thank you guys very much, and see you next week. Bye bye.